Hey guys, been a while, been working on home stuff, haven't been cooking much. I'm making bagels today because it's an icky day outside. Don't really feel like going to town to buy bagels, and honestly, bought bagels in a small town in Missouri sort of suck. I like bagels, don't get me wrong. I didn't build this on leafy greens. Anyway, bagels. I love New York bagels. This is a New York style bagel. At least it's a Midwestern version of it. In here, I had a cup of flour, went in there, along with 1 tablespoon R1 envelope of instant yeast. I used 1 2/3 cup of warm water. By warm water, take your Insta-Read Thermopen, get it about 110 so you don't kill the yeast. Put it in there. I'm going to mix this all up to make our starter. The French call this a pouliche, I believe. I'm not French, and my pronunciation's horrible. So if you can see it or not, there's our pouliche, our starter. It's fairly thin. We're gonna let that sit. I'm gonna sit on the back of the stove, and I'm gonna come back to it in a couple, 3 hours. I want to get kind of a sour flavor. It's not a sourdough per se, but it gives it a nice flavor for the bagel. That's where we're going. All right, I'll be back in a little bit when this has done its thing. Hey guys, bagels, step 2. So we made the pouliche of the starter a while ago. We let it rest for a little while. Give you an idea what it looks like. That's it, real kind of gluey. Smells great in here if you like sourdough. Now we're going to put that on our stand mixer. We're going to get the dough hook that we forgot. Got the dough hook. Actually going to take that off. In here we have 4 cups of flour. We're going to add a cup of warm water. I'm going to have a link to this. Actually, I'm going to have this in the description on the video. We got some salt, we got yeast, we got malt powder, and that's it. A little bit of sugar, sorry. So we're going to mix all that together. And again, instead of reading off the recipe for you guys, I'm just going to show you what I do. I'll have the recipe saved right away for you, and you'll be able to see it. So we're going to add that. That's our sugar, our salt, our malt powder. We're going to add our water, warm water. 110, 115 degrees is fine. We're going to mix this up. Before I hook that, I take the dough hook, kind of work it around just to get it started, because otherwise this thing will just spin and spin and spin. You'll think you're getting nowhere. So when it all starts to kind of come together, I'm going to knead it. Start slow or you make a huge mess. I know this. We're going to knead this. We're going to let it all come together. We're going to knead this for like 7 minutes. I want it pretty stretchy. I want it pretty tough. I want those glutens to develop so that we have a nice chewy bagel. After we get this kneaded, we're going to let it rest in a warm spot till it doubles in size. I'm just going to put saran wrap over it, set it in a warm spot, and let it double. And then I'll be back to show you what's next. We've kneaded this for a while now. I'm going to call it maybe 5, 6, 7 minutes, probably 5 minutes closer to it. We've got a sticky dough, and which is what we want for bagels. Sticky, kind of, yeah, sticky. So, a little bit of oil on it. Not a lot, you just want to coat it so the saran wrap, the plastic wrap, doesn't stick to it. I'm going to oil it up. I'm going to turn it into a ball. It's a wet dough. We're going to knead it later with a little bit of flour when we roll it out, so it's okay to be wet. I'll put a little bit of oil in the bowl so it doesn't stick there. I'm going to take this oiled ball of dough, drop it in there. I'm going to put saran over it. We're going to leave it sit till it's doubled in size, okay? When I come back to you, we'll be rolling it out. You can probably tell I changed aprons. We're going to work with flour and I make a mess. So I changed aprons. Anyway, I mentioned before we were going to let our bagel dough double. It did. It's pretty damp dough, but that's okay. We're going to knead it with some flour. We're going to make bagels. And we're going to let them sit here, and we're going to let them rise again. And just to remind you guys, I will put all of the recipe notes on the YouTube video. So we're going to knead this a little bit. We want to knead it until, I knead it until it starts to push back a little bit. now starting to push back, so I'm going to tear this off into chunks. The recipe says 8 equal pieces, but you know, about that big, about as big as a baseball. I'm just going to work it with my hand until I got about a bagel-sized piece. There's a right way and a wrong way to do bagels, apparently, and this is the wrong way, but it's the way that works for me. I just make a ball, smash it out, poke a hole in the middle with my thumb, bagel. I'm gonna let that right there. We're just gonna let it rise. I'm gonna do that with the rest of these. I'm not gonna make you watch me do all of them. I'll do one more. I wanna make sure it's got some flour all around it. Making a nice tight little hockey puck size thing. If you guys live south, hockey's something they play here and points north of here. Yeah, they play it down south of here. Some of you guys think you got a team down south, but you know, it's a Canadian sport. We just happen to be lucky to have a decent team in St. Louis. So it's up to you how uniform you want to make these, how long you want to screw them. There's another one. You know, I'm not all that concerned about having them absolutely perfect. I'm not selling them, we're just eating them. There they are. I'm going to do the rest of them, and when I come back, I will show you how to boil bagels. All right, back in a little bit. So I've got my water to simmer. It is just plain old tap water, a couple tablespoons of baking powder, a couple tablespoons of baking soda. I do that because some dude I never met on one of my Facebook food groups said, you want to replicate New York water? Do that. So I did. I don't have malt syrup. It's not easy to get in small town USA. So I put malt powder in the bagel. I think it gets a similar result. Better than what I'm going to buy in town or at the grocery store. So now we're going to simmer these guys, or boil these guys, if you will. And drop them in here. We're going to do whatever fits. Usually 4 of them fit in this pot, okay? We're going to let them go about 30 seconds on each side. Maybe a little bit longer, 30, 40 seconds on each side. We don't want to kill the yeast, we don't want to cook it. We just want to set a kind of a skin on them. So we're going to do that. Bear with me, it'll take 30 seconds or so. We're going to get those guys going, turn them over. After we turn them over and let them go another 30 seconds, I'm going to put them out on here. I'm going to put, I'm going to go over here. I'm going to put a grind of Himalayan pink salt on them, as well as everything bagel seasoning. You could use any kind of salt. I'm making these, not so much for myself. I'm trying to watch the carbs, but one of the girls is home from college, and Martha likes everything bagels, so it's what I'm making. All right, I will be back to you guys when I've got these laid out and ready to go in the oven. Again, I'm just gonna 30 seconds, which is probably what it's been. Gotta be careful, this stuff likes to bubble over. We're just gonna flip these guys. Since you're watching, since you're here, you can watch me try not to make a mess. There we go. We flipped them. We're gonna go 30 more seconds. We're gonna put them out, we're gonna season them, gonna do the next 4, and then we're going to the oven. All right, back in a second. So we're gonna slide these guys in a 475 oven. Let's take a look. I think you can see that. Everything bagels, little salt on top. They look pretty good, actually. We're gonna ride them in that 475 oven about 30 minutes, maybe 25. Keep an eye on them when they look nice and brown, or whatever, however you like them. Pull them out, let them cool, eat them. I'll show you when we're done. All right, back in a second. All right, so our bagels are finished. 475, they ran about 25, 30 minutes in the oven. I only did 8. It's 4 cups of flour. Double it if you want to get 16, but there aren't that many of us here. So there's bagels. They're really easy. They're far better than what you're gonna buy most places, unless you're in a big city. If you're in a big city, yeah, go get the good bagels. Or cook them at home. They're good. And it's not hard. It gives you something to do. Snowy day. Anyway, I digress. So, thanks guys at BrinkerCooks. We'll see you next time. Bye.